What's up, guys, and welcome to my 2020 NFL playoff predictions. We're finally done with the regular season and into the real good games, the playoffs. Ooh, there are a lot of good teams in the playoff this year and some good teams that missed it. But, let's just get straight into it. So, starting off, the Chiefs, they won the AFC, just get a first round bye, moving on. So now Bills at Colts. I think this is going to be one of the better games all these games are going to be good, but I think this will be one of the more interesting games. Because the storyline of Josh Allen and the Bills really heating up near the end of the season and really looking like the one team that may be able to beat the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Colts that some people are saying shouldn't have made the playoffs. I disagree. I think that their defense is almost elite, and Philip Rivers has really gotten it done for this offense. But other than that, I am going to take the Bills just because their defense is getting to be truly elite and they're still very young. And I think that Tre'Davious White will match up well on T.Y. Hilton. And I don't think Philip Rivers will be able to get the passing game going too much. So I do think that the Bills will beat the Colts pretty easily, but it'll still be a fun game to watch. Next up, Steelers at Browns. Rematch from last week, although I think there will be a different outcome. I think the Steelers will win. So currently the Browns are having COVID problems, so that does apply to it. They will not have Kevin Stefanski and many other coaches along with some players. Plus, Big Ben is back, and I just think this team is a lot better defensively, and they have a lot of receivers that can really just outrun all of the Browns' corners. So I think this will be a really fun, tough, old school game to watch, but I do think the Steelers will come out on top. Finally rounding off, the AFC wildcard, Titans at Ravens. Titans knocking the Ravens out of the playoffs last year, although the Ravens are heating up a lot this year with their defense always being good, but really starting to look elite again, and Lamar Jackson running loose all over every single team. So I do think the Ravens will win. I just think that right now this offense is almost unstoppable, and the Titans' pass rush and even run stopping is just very, very lackluster this season. And although their secondary may be good and, may stop Lamar Jackson from really getting those huge runs, I still think he runs all over this team. And if not, then J.K. Dobbins will. And on offense, I do think Derrick Henry does have a big game for the Titans. I mean, he has a big game every week. But I do think he does have another big game. And this offense isn't going to be bad. They're still going to get those big plays, but I just don't think they can keep up with the Ravens' consistent pounding on the run game. So I do think the Ravens will win, and that rounds out the wild card games for the AFC. Now on to the NFC, starting off with the Green Bay Packers. They get a first round bye. I don't think they are the best team in the NFC, but I do think they deserve this bye, so not really much to say. Packers get the bye. Next up, Saints at Bears. I think this has one of the best underdog upset abilities, because I think the Bears are really heating up. Their defense has been elite all season, and with Mitchell Trubisky starting to move the ball at least a little bit, this offense looks like it can keep up with average offenses. And I think if Alvin Kamara does not play for the Saints, I think the Bears do actually have the advantage in this game, because the Saints offense has really these past few weeks come down to just, can Alvin Kamara make enough plays? And the answer is yes. Although they do have a lot of other weapons like Michael Thomas, Jared Cook, Taysom Hill, I just think Alvin Kamara is the main part of this defense, and he's really what makes this team good. So I do think it comes down to Alvin Kamara for the most part. Although, if he plays, they will win. If he doesn't, I still think they have a good chance of winning. Although, don't be surprised that if Alvin Kamara doesn't play, the Bears do upset the Saints on this. But for now, assuming that Alvin Kamara plays, I am going to take the Saints in this game. Now on to the Seahawks at Rams. Rams at Seahawks. Anyway, I do think that the Seahawks with Russell Wilson are one of the best teams in the league, and definitely up there with the Saints and Packers in the NFC. Although the Rams are the one team they just didn't want to see in these playoffs. The Seahawks are so good in everything, but the Rams just match up so well against them. Starting off, DK Metcalf is going to be locked down all game by Jalen Ramsey. DK Metcalf being one of the more physical, probably the most physical receiver in the NFL against Jalen Ramsey, who is the most physical cornerback in the NFL. And I do think Jalen Ramsey is just better. And I don't think Tyler Lockett, he's not done much anyway, so I don't think he would be a big problem for the Rams' defense. Although, if they really did need to stop him, they have Darius Williams there. And then, now to the big part, Aaron Donald against this below-average offensive line. Although, he matches up really well against the Seahawks, obviously, because they don't have a great O-line. But honestly, he could be any offensive lineman in the NFL. 1-on-1, 2-on-1, and even being triple teamed. I think Aaron Donald is always a matchup problem for any team that the Rams are against. But enough about the Rams defense. I want to go to their offense now. So they have 4 main weapons: Cooper Kupp, what's his name? Woods. Forgot his first name. Don't know why. Josh Reynolds and Van Jefferson. 4 main wide receivers that are all starting caliber, if not elite. Against who? Who on the Seahawks defense can cover them? Jamal Adams, maybe, but you don't want him covering wide receivers. You want him in the box to stop the run. So I just think that the Rams have too many offensive weapons, and I think that the Seahawks defensive line just can't get to Jared Goff quick enough to really stop them. So I think the Rams will win this game, and the Seahawks are kind of getting screwed here because this is the one team they didn't want to see. I think this is probably the one team besides the Chiefs that really could beat them. Finally on to the Washington football team, home against the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers get a bye, pretty much. Tom Brady's the only player in the NFL that can get a bye in a league where only 2 teams get a bye. The Washington football team is not playoff caliber. They won the NFC least. Not really much to say. The Buccaneers, offense has really clicked these past few weeks, and I do think they are one of the best teams on paper. And there's really nothing Washington can do against them. They shouldn't have won the game against the Eagles, but the Eagles decided to tank. So, not really much to say. Washington shouldn't even be here. Should have been New York, although they also would have lost. But just taking it home, Tampa Bay is going to win that game. And that ends all the wild card games for the playoffs. Now on to divisional round in the AFC. Now on to the divisional round, starting off with the Chiefs at home against the Ravens. So, this is not the team that the Chiefs wanted to see in the divisional round. The Ravens have really gotten hot these past few weeks with Lamar Jackson in this defense, and Patrick Mahomes has been sitting on the bench for 2 weeks now, which was not smart for the from the Chiefs side, but I do think the Chiefs will still compete in this game. And this one's tough, but I do think the Chiefs will win this game. So I think the Chiefs will win this game. They are still the best team in the NFL, and I think just because all these players have been sitting for at least a week, Patrick Mahomes for 2, I still do think they come out and fire immediately and try and get the score up so the Ravens really can't come back from behind. So I think the Chiefs' game plan should be get as many points as possible, as quickly as possible, so the Ravens can't rely on the run, which is really how you beat the Ravens offense. You get them to get uncomfortable and make Lamar Jackson throw the football, which I think they are capable of doing. The only problem is it's their defense, who isn't bad, but they are just average. They're not great, they're not good, they're just average. Are they capable of slowing down Lamar Jackson? Now that's the question. If they can, for 1 or 2 drives, I think the Chiefs win. If they can't, though, I think the Ravens may be able to upset them, because this Ravens defense is one of the few in the NFL that can really stop Patrick Mahomes and all these weapons. And although I'm talking up the Ravens a ton, because they are one of the best teams in the NFL these past few weeks, I mean, all of these playoff teams are, I do still think the Chiefs will win, because I just don't see them coming out and not being great. So I think the Chiefs will win, although it's making me think about it again and maybe taking the Ravens, but I'm just going to stick to what I have, take the Chiefs. Okay, we're done with that. Okay, now on to Steelers against the Bills. This one's pretty easy. The Bills win. The Steelers really fell off these past few weeks. I mean, if they played a completely healthy Browns team, I think they would have lost. But, you know, it is what it is. The Bills, again, one of the only teams, maybe the only team in the NFL that looks like they can hang with the Chiefs' offense right now. And I just don't think that the Steelers' offense can really do much against this great Bills defense. And even if they could, they definitely couldn't score as much as the Bills. So, not really too much to say. I do think the Bills win this one pretty easily. I think that they win this one by a little more than they beat the Colts, which is surprising because the Steelers beat the Colts, but whatever. It's all about matchups. Now to the NFC. Packers hosting the Rams. This is the end of the road for the Rams. I don't think Aaron Rodgers would lose to the Rams, although they are great. I do think Davante Adams does win the matchup against Jalen Ramsey, although Jalen Ramsey is a very physical player. I think Davante Adams is one of the best, if not the best, separators in the NFL, and I think Aaron Rodgers is really going to have to rely on him this game, although I think that he will rely on him, but he really won't need to. I think if they just stick to the run and pass when they really need to, I think they can easily win this game. And I think although they have the Rams have Aaron Donald, who is always a matchup problem, I don't think that would phase Aaron Rodgers that much. And if they really just run it, I think he shouldn't be too big of a problem. Oh, and also, going back to the Rams in the Seahawks game, Robert Woods. He's the wide receiver I was thinking of, Robert Woods. Okay, now off that tangent. Okay, now to the Saints hosting the Bucs. The Saints have already beat the Buccaneers twice this season, but this is a different Buccaneers team. This offense has really clicked. Andy Reid and Tom Brady have really gotten on the same page, and they're still one of the best teams on paper against the Saints, who are also great, just a little bit worse than the Buccaneers. Although I think the Saints will still win. They've beaten them so far twice this season. I don't see why they can't a third time. I mean, the Buccaneers are a better team. Although I trust the Saints a lot more to beat the Buccaneers after they've seen them twice this season than for the Buccaneers to win. So I don't really have too much I mean, there's no one on the Buccaneers defense that can cover Alvin Kamara. So if you want a big reason, there you go. But I do think that the Saints just win. So now, on to the championship games. Finally, on to the AFC Championship between the Chiefs and Bills. This is gonna be an amazing game. The Chiefs, best team in the league, won the Super Bowl last year. Explosive offense with amazing weapons, so many weapons, and an average defense. Versus the Bills, who have heated up on offense, led by Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, with an elite defense. The up and rising Bills or the already on top Chiefs, the big storyline. This game is gonna be amazing. This game is gonna be so fun to watch. I hope it happens. It will happen. I'm calling it right now. This is gonna be a great game. But I do think the Chiefs will win. The Chiefs are the best team in the league. They're gonna stay the best team in the league. The Bills, while rising, I still think Josh Allen isn't a perfect quarterback. He will make those mistakes every once in a while. And I think this Stephon Diggs, while another one of the best route runners in the NFL, I don't think that will matter too much because the Chiefs always have a safety over the top. So I think that the Bills overall on offense, while as explosive as the Chiefs, they just don't have that it factor. They just don't have that it factor while the Chiefs have all these good players that can each single-handedly make an offense amazing. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. Those are just three players that can change an entire franchise all on one team. And I just think there's no way that even the Bills' elite defense, can stop. The Chiefs are just way too good for any team in the NFL, and although I do believe in the Bills a ton, and I do think they are a great team, I just don't think they can keep up. I don't want to talk about it too much, because thinking about it again, I don't want to talk my way out of the Chiefs winning like I was going to do with the Ravens, so I'll just move on to Packers against the Saints. So, last time they played, the Saints dominated this game. The Packers could do absolutely nothing against Alvin Kamara. And I still don't think they can. They can't do anything against Alvin Kamara. Anything. They just don't have that player on defense besides Jaire Alexander, but they're not going to put him on Alvin Kamara. And the Saints just are too good of a team on offense against the Packers defense, who have really been underwhelming this season. While still good, they aren't the elite unit that we thought they would be. Although on offense for the Packers, it's a whole different story, because with Aaron Rodgers, you're never counted out of a game. And I think that, again, there's really nobody on the Saints defense that can truly cover Davante Adams. Marshawn Lattimore may be able to stop him for a little bit, but he can't truly lock him down. Along with Aaron Jones, who I really like, and I think he is kind of underrated because of Aaron Rodgers and that same offense, but he really takes the load off of him. And I do think Aaron Jones will be able to run all over the Saints defense when the Packers aren't hitting them in the air. So I do think, surprise, surprise, the Packers win, although losing earlier this season. I think on paper the Saints are matched up well against them and overall are the better team. I just believe in the Packers more and believe in Aaron Rodgers, who should win the MVP this year. I don't really know too much to say. I mean, there isn't much logic behind this pick. It's more a gut feeling. But I do think the Packers win this game, bringing us to a Chiefs versus Packers Super Bowl. Mahomes versus Rodgers. Super Bowl MVP versus MVP. Who will win? Finally, the Super Bowl. Chiefs at Packers. Or, I guess, there really is no away team. But Chiefs versus Packers. This is what I've been waiting for. MVP last year versus MVP hopefully this year. Rodgers versus Mahomes. One great team versus another. And this is going to be an amazing Super Bowl to watch. So fun to watch. And I think that it will be an offensive shootout. Neither of these teams have great defenses, while both these teams have very just above average. They got amazing offenses, both of them. Although the Chiefs may have some better weapons like Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins always seems to show up in important games. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Le'Veon Bell, they just have all these offensive pieces. While the Packers only seem to have Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Marcus Valdes-Scantling, Devontae Adams, sometimes Robert Tonyan. I still think that the Packers' offense, while not as powerful as the Chiefs, I still think they're pretty even. And I think that the Packers do have a slight advantage when it comes to defense, because the Packers really do have just more talented pieces. Although each team has their one great player. For the Chiefs, Tyrann Mathieu, and Chris Jones. I forgot about him. For the Packers, they have Jair Alexander and Kenny Clark. So they both have their two elite players, and then the rest are just good. I just think the Packers' just good players are just better. So I think the Packers have an advantage on defense, while the Chiefs have an advantage on offense. And I think this will be a tough shootout-ish game. I think it will be a very well-coached and fun game to watch. And you know what? Just enough stalling. I'm taking the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to win. It's going to be a fun game to watch, although the Chiefs are just too good. They are 10 levels above every other team in the NFL. They are just unstoppable. Their offense has too many weapons. Although the Packers may be more consistent than the Chiefs, I just think that the Chiefs won't just choose the Super Bowl to not show up. I think this will be their best game of the season against one of the best teams they've faced. So I do think Chiefs beat the Packers. I don't want to talk about, or just beat it around too much. I do think the Packers are a great team, and I think if they did play the Bills, they would win, but they're not. They're playing the Chiefs, and I do think the Chiefs win the Super Bowl. They're going to repeat, and hopefully the Chiefs become a dynasty, which they are looking like becoming. Now that concludes my 2021 NFL playoff predictions, with the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, the Packers coming up just short. And if you really did enjoy this video, please leave a like. It means a lot to me. And if you have different opinions, I always want to hear them, so leave them in the comments. And next video should be my first mock draft of the off-season. So look forward to that. And again, if you like what I'm doing and want to see more, please subscribe. And if you like the video, please like it. And that's it for today. See ya!